Greetings, and so happy to have you.
So great to be here. It's such a blessing, and to just be sitting in my living room and to feel this connection, this vibration of Ananda, which from day one captivated me and told me that I was home. So I'll start with just I'll start with a couple of things. I'll play a little bit for you first. Um, Forgive me that I'm not showing you my entire screen so you can see my bow, but there it is. So, sound check. Is that does that do well for a sound check? Okay, good. So please let me know if at any time my voice gets too soft or distorted or whatever, and I can make some adjustments here. So I'd like to next begin with a reading from Yogananda's Whispers from Eternity. And this one is, "From peak to peak and heart to heart I will fly singing thy name. Bless me, my Father, so that I may fly with thee from peak to peak, or lie on the grass and sing thy song to the birds. Bless me that I may wade through human hearts to bring them the song of thy glory. Bless me that I may whirl around the starry rim and blaze thy name. With the nebulae I will spread thy holy name. Bless me that with the humming atoms I may time my song with thine." What I am fascinated with in Whispers from Eternity is how many of these prayer demands are infused with some kind of musical reference. Out of the 216 prayer demands, there are 56 of them that use some musical reference, and many of them use this concept of my song and thy song. And even in the chants that we sing, I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name. Listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song. So it raises this question, what is this song? What is this sense of melody? And I talk a lot. You can watch my other recordings that I've done on sympathetic vibration and references of, wow, I feel attuned with that. That struck a deep chord in me. I resonate with that idea. These soul perceptions that we get, which lie at the core of the reading from Rays of the One Light. Clarity comes from direct soul perception, and how many of us through Ananda have had some sort of direct soul perception that we can't quite enunciate, perhaps we can't quite talk about with distinctness, but we can definitely feel. I remember the first time that I was involved with Ananda. I walked into Ananda Portland back in 1996, and I just felt this home. I just knew that there's this soul perception of knowing that these were my people, this was my vibration, this was what I was looking for. And so these direct soul perceptions may not be able to be verbalized completely, but yet we know them to be true. This is what guides us. This is what takes us to where we want to go. And the whispers from eternity, these mentioning of my song and thy song. So song has melody, and melody is so often attributed to aspiration. As a classical musician, I've had to play the gamut of Renaissance and Baroque and medieval and contemporary and classical and romantic, and there was a period in my life that I was playing really avant-garde music. I won't play it for you now because it's quite disjointed and just kind of like it's not in tune with the vibration of Ananda, which is much more melodious, much more aspirational. But it was really interesting for the head to do all these different exercises of play this note, then that note, then this note, and the timing of like to take one beat and divide it up into 5 and then play it on the 3rd division of that 5, and then the next one play it on the 2nd division of 7. Just all these kind of weird, wacky things that don't really make sense, but is interesting for the mind to do. And how much of our lives are surrounded by things that are mentally interesting, but that don't speak to the soul. So what I'd like to share with you this morning are ways of deepening that perception, that direct soul perception of our own song, or of tuning into God's song and singing thy name, singing God's name, not only, because how many of us have the opportunity to just sing God, God, God all throughout the day? Perhaps we do if we happen to work alone, but there are so many other ways that we can sing God's name and tune into our song and the song that God has to sing through us. So we all come from this one universal source, and our souls are all unique. Our souls are born with our own unique individual songs. It's so easy to try to look at others and think, wow, they have a fantastic song, maybe I should sing theirs, only to realize that, well, that might be their song, but it's not my song ultimately. Or I think this is one of our purposes in life, is to discover what this song is for us. For many years I was, where I thought, well, maybe I should sing this song, or put myself in a place where I was singing a good song, but it wasn't truly my own. I was trying to fit in. I was trying to be perceived as a good musician or a good teacher, but I wasn't really singing that deepest desire of my own song. And so it can be a little scary, because what is most vulnerable but the human voice? How many of us escaped unscathed from youth with an intact voice? Meaning, was there any point in which somebody said, oh, can you sing a little softer, dear? Or a little snicker here, or a little snicker there, that just made us like, maybe I shouldn't sing. The sad thing about today's society is that we say, oh, you people with good voices, you go over there and you sing. And all you people without very good voices, you go over there and you just stay quiet. We don't really want to hear you sing. So you be quiet. We want to hear these people with the super voices sing. We've turned singing into this dividing line, and it's such a shame. There are cultures all over this world that just everybody sings. I mean, even 200 years ago, everybody just sang. Or, back in the 20s or 30s, there was music in social gatherings, and you just sang. It wasn't this big, huge ordeal. And there's so much freedom that comes from just this beautiful expression of thy voice, of your voice, and of God's voice coming through us. And I want to tell you about a unique opportunity. On Saturday, April 3rd, the night before Easter, we are going to, I'm going to be hosting through Ananda Portland a sing-along oratorio. And we did this at Christmas time, and we had some of you join us from there. And it was this unique blend of showing choir videos from previous oratorios that you can sing along with, as well as live solos from around the nation. And so we'll be inviting different people to come in and sing live, just like I'm presenting to you here, with a mix of other recordings as well. So it'll be a chance to just sing within this holy vibration. And music is such an important part of Ananda. It was what really drew me in. So I'll speak briefly about my own experience. I had a career as a performing cellist before I found Ananda. And I came in, and the chanting was what really just brought me tears streaming down my face and just helped me realize that this was my home. And it was so sweet that there was a little choir of like 7 or 8 people that were singing that Sunday, and they were singing these songs of Swami Kriyananda. And I thought, oh, how nice, how sweet. You know, this Swami Kriyananda happened to write music, and it really didn't draw me in at first, but and I thought, well, I'll join the choir, and I'll be able to show them what the heights that we can go to. And I was just all on my high horse of bringing classical musician training to them. But little did I realize that it was going to be me that was going to be getting the training. So I had, in fact, volunteered to sing with them, and for their upcoming oratorio, they gave me this song to sing, This Is My Son. This is my son, in whom I am well pleased. And so I was coming home from an opera rehearsal, and I realized, oh my gosh, I have this solo to sing, and I haven't been practicing it. It was like 2 days from now. And so I started singing this song, and the opera rehearsal, I was down in the pit, and we were suffering under this uninspired conductor. And I was drenched in misery as I was driving home. And I had this revelation of, I should sing. I got to practice this song. And I sang through the song. And 40 seconds later, my energy and my consciousness was just blazing up at the spiritual eye. And I was like, what is going on here? How did this simple song change my consciousness so completely and so dramatically? So from that day onward, I've been spending my life exploring music and consciousness, and how this inspiration behind the notes ignites something to give us this direct soul perception of something greater than ourselves. So I'll be guiding you through this process during this oratorio to give you this deep, to allow you to perceive this deep presence of Christ within. And I've had so many experiences with the choir where we felt something just drop into this presence, where it was something greater than ourselves coming into being. And with my cello as well, connecting with audiences, giving them a chance to meditate, to still themselves, and to allow that awakening of resonance inside. Now, can I say that the resonance, the inspiration that I'm feeling was what Swami Kriyananda felt? I have no idea of how to do it. But I will tell you that it feels amazing to have the heart open and the consciousness raised, and just to feel that sense of connection, that sense of resonance within as we go. So what are some of the ways that we can perceive this soul perception of our song, of God's name singing through us? First of all, we know that getting quiet, of creating a dynamic stillness, is one of the first prerequisites for this. So allow yourself to have a meditation practice where you're sitting, you're allowing yourself to just be. I'm working with young musicians, and one of the first things that we have to do is stop the inertia of the go, 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 and be able to stop and just feel for a minute that sense of stillness within, so that when you start playing a song, playing a piece, you're coming from a place of stillness rather than a place of this inertia, and I just have to keep playing, because it's within our own soul perception of our own state, of our own consciousness, of our own presence. That's the word I'm looking for. When we have our own presence in hand, that's when music speaks the loudest. That's when we can communicate with the most clarity, with the most soul perception. So when I'm playing from this place of stillness, it's a lot different from when I'm just coming in and scattered and my mind's on a million different things, and I come to sit down and I just start playing. I'm playing the same music, but yet it's different from when I collect myself. So the physique changes, the physical aspects change, the heart changes, and the mind and the presence change as well. So dynamic stillness is one of the most important things. The second, so I call that the hush. The second is the heart, of allowing yourself to have the courage to open your heart in places where you might feel vulnerable. Many of us have experienced a time in our life when we just said, "Oh, okay, that's it. I'm done, packing it up, moving on." And one of the beautiful things about what we have here at Ananda is that it provides us the safe environment to open our hearts. And this allows us to start to resonate. This is like lifting the dampers off of the piano strings so that they can sympathetically resonate with the beautiful sounds around them for this song that God has to sing through us. And the third, so we have the hush, the heart, and then the lift is creating the positive energetic flow of practicing positivity and engaging in that aspect of our lives which keeps us going. So affirmations, positive thinking, keeping our environment uplifting and sattvic, connection with other positive people. And that allows us then to enter that fourth stage of the flow. So hush, heart, lift, and flow, where you just enter into that dynamic presence of God's song through us. And we've all experienced flow, whether it's in running and cycling and doing something that you love and cooking and serving. Whatever it is that you feel, just that joy come in and take over, and time can pass in an instant, or one moment can just open up into an eternity. So I would love to speak more on this. Perhaps we can do a workshop on going deeper with this hush, heart, lift, and flow, and opening ourselves up into that presence of the divine. So I'll leave you with another piece of, this is entitled New Dawn by Swami Kriyananda. It's on the Mystic Harp 1 album, played by a fiddle by Alistair Fraser, who's this beautiful, beautiful violinist. just one more word. I'll be sending word out through Maitri for the oratorio on the 3rd. So everybody is welcome to come and join us.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. New Dawn is one of my favorite pieces. I'm so glad you shared that with us today. And yes, we would love to do a workshop with you. We have, I forgot to mention this in the announcement, we have Asha coming on the 10th, I believe it is, of April, but then we'd love to have you back maybe in May or something. So, look at your schedule and please, let's have you back to do an inspirational workshop on music and that whole theme of the song that God's song that can flow through us. I have a question for you. We are going to open it up here now, and we can, I guess, go ahead and take it off of Facebook. And wait, before you do that though, let me just say to our Facebook folks, if you want to join our Satsang, please go to our website and come in on the Zoom link, because we would love to have you come on and still share with us. But we are going off Facebook now, and those of you that want to open up your cameras, and there's Pam and Sam from Monterey Bay, our folks from Monterey Bay, the Sangha there that always joins us and supports us. We're brothers and sisters. And if you have any questions, of course, everybody knows the routine, I think, by now. You can put it in the chat box, come on. I want to start with a question, and my question is, have you noticed if your song has changed some during the pandemic? How has the pandemic affected you in that sense? We're here at a full year, and I know that it's really affected all of us in different ways, and I was just curious in terms of this line of thought we're on today with God's song flowing through you, if you have any thing to share.
Speaking personally, it's been quite a year. So I make my living up in here in Portland by teaching cello, and I thought, I'm going to lose students. I don't know it's going to be this year of uncertainty, but in fact, I gained students, and I've been teaching remotely for. I've got 50 students that I see on a weekly basis, and it's been this just blessing to really think about what music has to offer people. What does music do? So what can music do to uplift us in this time? And so it's this opportunity to just stop, to stop and to really allow my song, which has been kind of overshadowed by trying to fit into the classical music realm, and just allow it to be what it's going to be. So it's given me the courage to speak more dynamically, to allow this message of inspiration, of music for higher consciousness to come through on a more practical level, and to work with children and to work with my students on reducing the stress through music, and to bring joy. So that's been a great blessing. And just moving forward, it's been such a joy to dive deep into going on Facebook and just doing some live improvisations. And I did one last night. I haven't been doing it very often lately, but just started doing it again last night. And just providing, sharing my song, and not being so worried as much as like, well, what are people going to think about my song? But rather allow it to just be, and discover that for myself, because that's what's going to bring me my most joy. So I noticed there is, from Victoria, Ananda chants are available. Yes, they are. There's a couple of different things. Ananda Radio. You can go on Spotify, and we have all of our chanting CDs up there on Spotify. And as far as choir music, that would be available on Ananda Radio, but many of Swami's music and others are on Spotify as well as iTunes, as you can go. But Ananda Radio is a great way to go as well.
I was wondering, along those same lines, one of the things that we've been utilizing, and it seems like it's a wonderful way to share the music, is more and more there's some taking the music and putting, visuals to it. And like today I was on YouTube, and trying to find what you had out there, and we pulled the one that was done in the field. That I forget the name of it. Right?
Life is a Quest for Joy.
Yeah, but I wondered if you had any plans to do more of that, or if you have any insights on that, because boy, it's a wonderful way to share the music. I mean, it's more dynamic in this form, in this format of, Zoom and all that, than just. I mean, live performance is great, but I mean, if you're doing a recording, it's a more dynamic form. So do you have any comments about that, or?
Yeah, I've been doing a few cello compilations, so you can go on my website or my YouTube channel. I did God's Call Within, and I did a full 7 cello version of Life is a Quest for Joy. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll have to look for it. Didn't come up in YouTube.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, when I looked last week or so, I didn't find it, but you know how it is. It might just been user error there. But on your website is a good place to go. And then also when you mentioned that you're doing these things live on Facebook, do you know the way that we can get notifications somehow? Because I had no idea you were doing that. That would be wonderful.
I will. Usually it's a spur of the moment kind of thing of like, well, I got a Saturday night. Let's go on Facebook. So it's usually unplanned, but I'll see what I can do.
Let us know. All right. So how about anybody else have a question? There's Mallory and Sam and Pam. You guys got anything you want to ask? Okay. Sam has a question.
Well, it's not really, well, it is kind of a question. Right now, Pam and I and a few others from around the country are taking Vyasa's yugas class. And we're talking of consciousness through the yugas. Have you ever been approached by Vyasa to give any kind of input on music in consciousness? Because you brought it up, music in consciousness through the yugas. Have you ever talked to him about that? And if not, why? And if so, when are you going to come to the class and give us a talk?
So there.
Beautiful. I love it. So the yugas are, it's so fascinating to think about what music would have been like in the previous arc of yuga, like the descending Dwapara, the descending, where we are now. So unfortunately, we only have, these past few centuries of music that we can associate with. So it's, as far as the larger scope, it's difficult to tune into what was happening there. But that is part of my goal, is to talk about music and consciousness and these mysteries of why music affects our consciousness and how. And those of you taking the Raja Yoga class coming up, there is a fantastic section in music where it talks about how music conveys consciousness, just as water waves carry flotsam and jetsam to the shore. Our voices and musical sounds carry waves of emotion and thought and energy as well. And songs actually hold vibration, they hold inspiration, and they can be added to through the years as people sing to them. So this is just a little bit of the fantastic things that you'll learn in the Raja Yoga class.
I did want to make one little comment, something that I realized, probably 10 years ago when I was really involved with the yoga classes and the yoga cycles, was people complaining about hip hop music and rap music and the way it was presented. And my argument was it's absolutely where it's supposed to be. We're doing it, this music is happening because on the descending yugas, at about this time across the way on the descending is when the Aboriginal music was very prevalent. And they didn't have instruments. All they had was a stick that they beat against a tree trunk, or they had a drum, and you got a constant rhythm. And then they told their story. That's how they told their stories. This is my life. This is how I lived. And now we've come all the way back around where we get a heavy beat of the drum and people telling their stories, whether you like the story or not. They're just telling their story. And so that has kind of eased my soul, my musical soul, in the realm of music. Why is it being presented the way it is? And just to know that it's going to get different in a few years. Things will change.
And we're not going to like it. Anything new is like, nope, not going to like it. But there are some beautiful, beautiful things being written, being composed, being played, being sung. So it's not all, we live in such a mixed bag. And so the music is such a mixed bag as we go. So my words of advice are simply find what resonates with you, find what uplifts you, listen to that. And so often we just listen to the radio out of habit, and we're at the mercy of what the music does to us. So yeah, music has such an important effect on our consciousness.
Just a quick, I just have to say something quick too. I never let an opportunity go by without a comment of some sort, but I just want to, whatever it was that inspired you to train your physical person to become a concert musician, which allows your soul to play the music, because it's so obvious. Whatever I can tell from a far distance when I'm hearing a David Eby song, the vibration, you are a pure channel of the vibration in which the music was written. And you came in ready to play it. So I just love the way Divine Mother puts things together. So thank you for your service and for your discipleship and what you do for the rest of us. Thank you.
I look forward to playing with you guys again someday. Yeah.
Anybody else? Feel free to open up and just say hi even if you want. And
do you guys
I just wanted to say, oh, sorry. I just wanted to say I thought that that piece that you did in the field at sunset was pretty awesome from the standpoint that you managed to play the whole song all the way through before the sunset. And there was more than one take there, I could tell, you know. So it was like, okay, so how do they keep the sun from setting? You know, so, but,
well, the beautiful thing about the ridge that was filmed at the ridge at Ananda Village is that during summertime, it's just this long, beautiful descent of the sun. So it looks like it's close, but it's going somewhat sideways. So it was a nice time.
one of the thing that always comes to mind for me, or often comes to mind for me with Swami's choral music in particular. When we were married, there were several of us around Ananda and through other contacts that had been going to a voice teacher her name was Sarah Fry, and she was really an old school kind of voice teacher. She was a lovely lady, but she could be very stern sometimes too. And so when we got engaged and we were trying to figure out the wedding ceremony and everything, and we had we drafted a bunch of our friends to come and be the choir, you know, and Sarah was going to be the choir director, and she was working with them, and she made several comments about what she considered the oddity of Swami's chord structure. When in choral music, she would say things because she'd find some part just seemed weird, and it was like, oh, you know, why I don't know why he did it that way. It's like, she'd say that Kriyananda, he didn't do it right. like, well, you know, you can't argue with the overall result, you know. But I wondered if you had any insight into Swami's, you know, choice of the way he constructed chords and in choral music, since you've been doing it for so long.
There's a gentleman, David Miller, who would be a better one to answer this question. David Miller worked directly with Swami in his music and writing the chords for many, many years. There are songs that Swami did himself. There are songs that and David Miller arranged. So sometimes there are differences between the two. So Swami, he started with a melody, and then he would typically add the bass line, and then he used the alto and the tenor to fill in all the other chords. And it's true, sometimes it's not very intuitive for the alto part to jump from one note to another, filling in the notes of the chords that are it's not as easy, for instance. But again, it's once you tune into the whole effect, then that's really where the joy comes through. So
yeah, I listen sometimes to the alto part, and I think, oh my God, I'm glad I'm not seeing that.
Yeah.
Well,
that would be hard.
one thing that occurred to me, and I don't know if you feel the same way or not, but in doing that, first of all, you can't get lazy. You know, you have to be very focused, and so the singing, his music really, you know, it requires a focus, and you can't even sort of, you know, drift into that. Oh, I know how I can harmonize this way, because, you know, some folks are able to naturally pick out the harmony, and you'd think, oh, that's where maybe it should be. I'm not, you know, trained in that way, but you can't get get lazy. You have to be focused, and I think it's part of that focus that allows you, just like it does in meditation, to go into that special space, because you're not just you're not so relaxed that you're just, you know, that way, but it just allows you to get into that more focused energy flow, and you can experience more of that bliss that we often do when we sing his music. That's sort of what has been my experience of it. It's like, okay, I got to really focus here. I can't just space out, and, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, I'm going to toss in there number one about Sarah Fry. She was in her 80s when we were taking lessons from her, and she used to be the pianist for her tenor husband, and they traveled all over when they were younger. And the one thing she really got after me about was being impatient. And those of you who know me for many 20 whatever 30 years here know that that's one of my qualities that or disqualities I call it, that I try to get rid of, is this impatience in life. It's like, let's get on with this, you know. So that was one thing there. And the other is the using the voice as an instrument. I feel very blessed and blessed that when I come to Ananda Village for any length of time, not for 2 or 3 weeks, but I've come numerous times for 3 months, and I always, whoever's the choir director, ask them if I can come sing with the choir, at least to the practices. I don't have to sing on a Sunday with them. Sometimes I did, but singing with them in the choir rehearsals or practices has been incredibly beneficial for my voice, for my consciousness, as well as how to sing. It's not just using the voice and throwing it out there or singing even quiet. It's so much more than that. And taking some lessons from Ramesha while I was there for some of my 3-month stays. Again, just as David said, and I love it, and it's why I'd love to do a workshop for those who are interested. It's more than, it's so much the consciousness and using the divine vibration in us with which to sing our song, to sing God's song within us. I just love music since I'm a kid. I could always carry a tune. That was about my expertise, was I can carry a tune basically most of the time, but learning to go deeper with the singing of this path of meditation has been incredible. And to do it privately is also incredible, because then you can go really deep. You can't go into samadhi, as Raghu taught us 20-something years ago. You can't go into samadhi when you're leading a kirtan or a chant. You'll get it later maybe, but not while you're leading. But you can tune into God. So thank you, David.
So we do have a question from Mallory in the chat box. Says, do you and Darshan play together? Since you are both trained as classical musicians, I think it would be so very uplifting in every way for you and the listeners.
Yes.
Do you know Darshan?
Yes, very. We have played together, in fact, and Swami wrote a string quartet that we recorded together, which was really fun to do. It's called Ananda Strings is the name of the album.
Oh, so we can find that somewhere? I don't even think I knew about that. Yeah. Okay.
Isn't there a CD called Ananda Strings?
Yes, that's what the...
Is that what you, well, now it's moved on to other media, but that's what I remember, a CD.
So that'd be through Crystal Clarity?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else there's Eric. Eric opened his camera up. Do you have anything you want to say? No pressure, Eric, but I know you are, enjoy sharing, so.
Yeah, I often have thoughts on a lot of things, but rarely on music because I'm so visual. I'm not so oral. But I just want to compliment David. It's so nice to see the way you show up and the way you articulate yourself. I can just feel the independence and clarity of your spirit, and it's really wonderful to just listen to you. So I appreciate the amount of work you've done on yourself and your art.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got some of our folks from, I guess we got Frank and Kim from Austin, and Victoria from Waco, Ellen from Austin. And anyway, anybody else have anything else they want to contribute or comment on?
Isn't there another CD? I want to say it's cello and flute.
Black's Meditations for Flute and Cello.
That's it. And it is incredible. And I used to use it to teach Hatha Yoga.
Oh, nice.
Softly in the background, because here we do play soft background music during our asana practice a lot. Or we did in person, excuse me. Especially because of the traffic noise that was outside the center. So that was a wonderful one, as well as the piano one, but the cello and flute is very lovely.
Just a brief interjection in there. I was driving down the road one day, and I think I had Spotify or something on the car radio. Sirius. It was Sirius XM. I had it going on the radio, and all of a sudden this music came on, and I went, "Oh, this sounds so familiar, so beautiful." And I looked at it just because it was David Evie and Bhagavati on Sirius XM, and I went, "Oh, no wonder it was so good."
We're on our way to work, and that really changed the whole vibration, the whole feeling for the rest of the day. It was unexpected. Between other things, like, oh.
What channel was that?
Invocation.
It was a Sirius XM. It was Spa, they call it.
Spa.
Huh.
It's 86 or 82 or something like that on Sirius. It's the new age channel.
Mellow stuff, supposedly.
So it was fun.
Were you gonna say something, David?
Oh, Woodland Devas, Invocation to the Woodland Devas is the one that they usually play.
There's Kim. Kim, do you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, David. Nice to see you shaved your beard off. I haven't seen that, so I noticed that right away. I did your Voices of the virtual choir. What did we used to call that? Voices of Inspiration or something like that? Or maybe I'm thinking of another group I was with. Say that again.
Voices of Light Virtual Choir. Yes.
Yes. It was a different one that I was thinking of. So, but that was many, many years ago. I wondered if you still do that, or I don't think so, but.
No, I did it for about a year, and then I didn't have time for it anymore. It was becoming too much.
That's what I thought. Yeah. That was a lot of fun, though. Thank you so much for that.
So, David, anything to share about what's going on with Ananda Portland?
As you know, so it's been a very quiet, silent year here. I have not been able to work with the choir, which is just it's so, we don't even know when that's going to be able to resume again. So we tried to keep things going, and you can do a little bit with, everybody send in your recordings and we'll patch them all together and we'll make this. But it does not give you the joy of being in the same room and combining your voice real time with others. It's a magical experience that is going to be so fantastic when we get to do it again. And it'll be really interesting because many of our singers moved away during this past year. So when we come back, it's going to be building up from ground zero again. But everything comes in waves. Everything comes in waves.
Who moved away?
Oh, let's see. In the past few years, Dombaro went up to Seattle. Jacob went up to Seattle. Santosh moved down to the village. Or not to the village, to the Palo Alto. And then, of course, Vajra and Pavani moved to the village. And Saranya moved down to be with her mother. So there's quite a few that are just poof, they're gone.
So in Portland now, what level of togetherness or not togetherness are you? I mean, you probably know because it's been all over the news that Texas is wide open. We're just gonna ride the waves of the pandemic here. But wondered sort of where you guys were at there, and
just barely starting to open up. Nothing in person yet. So all of our Sunday services are just virtual. A handful of us in the temple. But yeah,
so pretty quiet, like as you said.
Very quiet still.
Yeah, but you've got things going on virtually. It seems like from the newsletter and everything. Yeah. Okay. Well, anybody else have anything they want to chime in about? Otherwise, we won't keep David any longer. It's a little quieter today. But
it's daylight savings time.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's please now let's forget. Besides daylight savings time, it's also Pi Day for you nerds out there.
Oh,
what's Pi Day?
314. It's Pi Day, so we got to celebrate. For you nerds out there who are into this kind of silly stuff.
So does that mean we have to make a pie too?
Eat a pie.
Eat a pie.
Eat a pie, whatever kind of pie you want.
We've got to run. We've got to get ready for our service in Monterey Bay. Thank you, David. Thank you, Mayatri and Mark. Thank you, Supriya. Thank you, all of our beautiful friends in Dallas. waiting for the day when we can have one great big in-person satsang kirtan and rattle the Western United States with our music and chanting.
We'll be there.
Bye, y'all.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
y'all.
Hi, y'all. Namaste, y'all.
Anybody else, though? Come on, I want to see anybody. No,
Hey, Linda, open up.
no pressure, but we want to see.
Yeah, no pressure from you, but
Well, we all have our different ways.
yes, we do.
Well, anyway, it's been wonderful to have you, David. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And do we have any possible dates that you know that you're?
Yeah, May is, I have no performing things, so any weekend would be lovely.
Okay, well, we will look at that real quick, but everybody here that's on, just know May is, we're gonna have David back for a special workshop. And do you have a preference of time, David?
Morning or late morning or early evening, or that's what she's asking.
Or afternoon?
Or
maybe in like either a Friday evening or a Saturday evening, perhaps.
So you want to do an evening? Okay.
Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday would probably be it because we do our kirtan usually on Friday nights. But
or Saturday afternoon could work as well.
Okay, and we're 2 hours, of course, later than you. So, okay, well, so afternoon or early evening kind of thing is what would be your preference?
Yes, and maybe like two things, like have a afternoon workshop and then come back and I'll do a evening performance or something.
Oh, I like that idea.
Wow, that would be really special. Okay. Well, we're gonna work on that this week, and we'll send you some possible dates and have a little back and forth, and then we'll get it out there. If anybody has any input on that now, you can say something.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 9th. And so the week after that is totally open. The weekend of 15th would be great, or the 8th.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you again, David. It's been wonderful to share with you. And we look forward to you coming back sometime in May. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to go ahead and all go have some lunch, probably. Have some pie. So blessings to everyone. Have a great afternoon.
This is the open your camera and wave and
hug.
Hug.
Yeah, open your camera and wave and hug.
We always do this right at the end.
And everybody says, leave meeting.
That's okay.
Okay. God bless everybody. Take care till we see you again.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
Bye.